starting us off with a prayer in that way. And oh, we're not.
Sorry, we're not live yet.
Oh. Good morning, everyone, and Kanatskomton elders. I call you elder, but it's past chief standing on the road. An honor to be here with you today. We started this journey together. I can remember when he first came to me, he was wanting to get his road fixed up, and I said, well, buy a grader. He says, well, I can't, so I helped him get a grader, and then he wanted to help out the schools, because when COVID was happening for food security. And so then when I came out here to see the greenhouse, he had a whole fleet of equipment. Didn't just buy a grader, he bought 2 graders, 2 cats, 2 scrapers. So you've done an amazing job here, and the new council has carried on, and it's such an honor to be here with you today to just see the fruition of all this hard work come. So again, thank you for starting us off with a prayer and starting us off in a good way. So today we're here on Treaty 6 territory. The lands across Alberta have been home to the First Nations people for countless generations, as we know. And many thanks to Chief Ralph Cattleman for letting us come to your territory today to do this announcement. It's always great to meet with you and visit Montana First Nation. It's wonderful to see Agamic Fresh Greenhouse in action. And Agamic means across the river, so we're across the Battle Rivers right here too. So this was one of those Indigenous businesses that received an Aboriginal Business Investment Fund grant in 2021-22, and now they've got it all up and running, so we can see the fruits of their labor here. So that's why we're here today, is to announce and celebrate Budget 2024, our provincial budget, increasing the Aboriginal Business Investment Fund, we call it ABIF, to $10 million this year in annual grant funding. Yeah, we can get a clap for that. I can't think of a better way to mark 10 years of the ABIF program than by increasing it to $10 million a year. That's the second increase in a row. And over the last 2 budgets, we've doubled it. I remember when I first started with Indigenous Relations, I didn't have any money, and so I've been both premiers, past Candy and now with Danielle Smith, they've been so good working with Indigenous Relations. They help me out constantly, and whatever we ask for, we basically get. So I guess keep asking, I guess. So, but no, the government's really been supportive of everything we're doing in Indigenous Relations, and it's just been such an honor to work with Indigenous people across Alberta, especially with Montana right in my backyard. This is actually part of my constituency. So I'm excited to see how many more Indigenous businesses it will support and how many more jobs it will create for Indigenous people across Alberta in the years ahead. It's been an outstanding program, and it's a big part of the commitment to what I call economic reconciliation. I started down the road of reconciliation, and we all know past Grand Chief Willie Littlechild, he called it, he says, reconciliation. So he lets me use that word. So I've kind of taken it as my word, but it's actually his, reconciliation. And I love that, because I know when I first started, the Grand Chief would call me up and he'd say, Minister, that's nice, but what's your action? So we've kind of taken that on right across government. All the departments have started on this reconciliation. And it's so rewarding to see how government has really embraced it and moving forward. We've got a lot of grants around what we call cultural reconciliation, and this is one of our economic reconciliation. So the Agamic Fresh Greenhouse is owned by Montana First Nation. It received a $500,000 ABIF grant to help purchase the capital and infrastructure it needed to get it going. So they're working on expanding the greenhouse this summer, and when complete, it's going to employ up to 16 staff, and it's going to bring in about $330,000 revenue. Pretty impressive. For a small business, that's amazing. So it's really outstanding to see what you've done, and I'm so proud that Alberta's government could be just a small part of that journey with you. And that's what the Aboriginal Business Investment Fund is all about. And it's what we've been doing for about 10 years now, and growing it and growing it. So it began in 2014, the ABIF program, and since then it's created more than 800 permanent jobs for Indigenous people in Alberta, supporting more than 85 Indigenous businesses along the way. ABIF provides grants to Indigenous community-owned businesses for capital assets so they can build or acquire the infrastructure and the equipment they need to develop and grow. Often Indigenous communities have not been able to raise the funding for capital assets through bank loans or other traditional sources because of land ownership legalities related to reserve lands, and usually at very high interest rates. So the Aboriginal Business Fund is breaking this barrier down and is providing funding for projects like ABIF that improve social and economic outcomes in Indigenous communities. And these are not loans. What we're providing is direct grant funding that helps give businesses like ABIF fresh, communities like Montana First Nation the boost that they need. ABIF grants are helping Indigenous businesses grow beyond their communities to bid on regional and provincial projects, even employing people in neighboring communities. So Indigenous businesses across Alberta are making significant contributions to the provincial economy, and programs like ABIF are able to help with that. So it's been a real pleasure to see what you've done here, and we're going to take a little walk afterwards and get right into the greenhouse. And I was actually here when we first threw the switch and turned it on, so that was pretty exciting. So to see it full of plants and everything growing, I'm really excited to see what all you've done there. So I'll turn it over to Chief Ralph here, and I'll let you carry on. Thank you, Chief. You can use my notes.
Yeah. Nigan kapnanas kuma mamuktawi mau. Takotakis kau ip mau iko. Apnanas kuma tsi hogi mau deskagis mustamago. Tom kapak semo umaskunkan kastig agame gesika tik. De ip muitikoak. Jogun goge kap muitapmaak. Uitsatoske maak. Ip nanas kumoan. Ta atoskeun kap maask toskaim nog. Iuk sketena nog kiugi goyon aikotsk. Nanas kumoan atoskeuguta. Ei saa kamemutsk. Ip muitikoak. Tiagi gonguts paksemuak. Wetna moanaske histano taasimsno kussimno kap muuten gitsk agami uino kap muuten git jo kam paksemoan gutna naskamoan ko magantik. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor. You got to thank the Creator for another day. I got to thank the Chief, my uncle Leonard, for invocation. It's been a long road to get where we're at. But our community is prospering in a big way. Just like it exploded. But where we're going, what we're doing, is for our people, our young people. I think of them every day because where I live right in the heart of the town site. And what I went through over the weekend was not very good to see constantly. And there's jobs here. I hope some way and somehow I can get through them. For the initiatives the government, provincial government's doing for us, like helping us out to get this greenhouse going. All the work that's around us. It's important we keep pushing our people, our young people. It's really important to me to see them succeed in the jobs that are coming. But you have to thank the government. I always thank Rick for always being a part of this. He's been here from the start when he started this. My uncle then was at the helm of everything. But where we're at today, I'm hoping for the best for everybody, especially AKB staff. For what you guys do. You guys do all the groundwork. You make us look good, but you guys do all the hard work. I just like to thank everybody. Hi, hi.
All right, thanks everybody. We're going to open up to questions. We'll go in the room first. Just state your name and outlet, and then we'll move to the phones after with one question, one follow-up. Thank you.
This is Daniel Barker-Trombley with Wind Speaker Radio Network for CFWE. Question for both Minister Wilson and Chief Cattleman, specifically with this announcement of the $10 million that's going to be going towards small businesses. The big question is what's next? What businesses are we going to see that are coming new to Montana First Nation?
There's so many things that are coming for Montana First Nation. I'm so excited. It's so overwhelming. Within these past 4 years, we exploded. We have construction here. We have a clinic here. We have solar here. Our greenhouse here. What else am I missing? Our farming, we took our farming over. Geez, there's a lot of big things coming for Montana, and I'm so excited. And for the people, I want people to get involved. Our people here, our young people. Our percentage of 18 to 35, Gina, what is it, 52? About there? About 52% of our community, of 1,000, I'll say 1,060 people, 52% from 18 to 35. And that's who I focus on, just to help them. I wish they would come to work. Like, there's so many opportunities for them. We have a lot of things going here. They can get trained, schooling, get ticketed. In 5 years, they have wherever they're going, whatever they're taking, they're ticketed. And I just wish that we're going to keep moving. We're going to keep moving because it's for the better of our community. Healthy. I always want to see a healthy community. Hey.
Yeah, thanks for the question, and maybe I can just elaborate on the whole province. So for this year, with getting up to $10 million, it's going to allow us to, because I'm always overprescribed like 3 times of what's out there. So now we can take on a lot of extra projects. One right in our other backyard with Louis Bull and the casino that's going along the highway there. We got them a big grant to help them kickstart that. We're probably going to be doing the big grand opening, we're hoping in May there, cut the ribbon, and that's going to create a lot of employment for all the First Nations. There's 4 First Nations right in Musqueam here, so that's going to be amazing. And we're right across the entire province. Like if you go down to Pekani First Nation down in southern Alberta, we've helped them with a service center down there, and it's employing a lot of young people, start some in that business acumen, learning how to run a business and that type of thing. Up north, we've got a lot of First Nations that are into the logging business, so we've helped them get logging equipment to start their own logging companies and things like that. I can think of one really cool one way up north, up in Fort Chip. There's a little store we got started up there. It used to be $13 for a liter of milk up there. Now they have their own little store. They can supply milk and vegetables and fruits for the young kids up there. So it's been like, these are small businesses, but you get enough of these small businesses going, and you start changing communities and get that effect changing. And like the chief talked about some of the stuff with addictions and mental health. That's probably one of the biggest concerns we've got here right now that we're really working on to try to find a solution there. And we've been working with all the chiefs have come together, and we're working on an Indigenous-led solution so that we can start that healing process for the whole community and start everybody back on that path of healing and doing it in a cultural way that I think is the way that we're really going to help people. So a lot of good stuff happening, and it's all because we've got good leadership.
And my follow-up question is, I've spoken to a lot of people here present within the Comic Fresh greenhouse here, and they've said that the overall reaction that they've gotten since its inception is that a lot of children are getting fresh produce, and that they're happy to receive the fresh produce. When you hear that, just as a result from this ABIF grant, what thoughts come to mind for both of you?
Chief could speak better to it than me, but that was our dream right from the start. Is we wanted to make sure that food security is a huge issue on all First Nations, and so to be able to grow their own food and do it in a culturally correct way, and like even the way they're running the greenhouse, the amount of water that they use is a fraction of what you would use growing it conventionally. So there's a lot of really good lessons always to be learned from Indigenous people, and to see that this food is going to the school kids is really heartwarming for me.
For the community, it's so amazing. You can see it right behind me. Here's some of the product that's from our greenhouse here, and it's fresh. We give it to 11 schools, I think, we deal with, MESC, and everybody gets this. And where we're going, we ought to thank Jordan. Jordan's back there, and he's our grower, and it's so overwhelming to see this. And I think we're all the, what do you call them? The farmers markets right across, eh? We're right from Calgary. Is it Calgary to Edmonton? I think we're in every farmer's market. We're in the Hammies in local town here. And what's the other place called? Hammerand Foods out of Calgary. I think he has 5 grocery stores or something, you saying? Yeah, and we're supplying them. It's growing, and everybody likes our product. Like the guy in Calgary, Jordan was thinking that he wanted maybe 25 to 50% of our product. Here he tells us he wanted 100% of our product. So he's busy with that, and where it's going, it's so overwhelming. It's exciting for, I guess, First Nations. Hey.
Thanks, everyone. We'll move to the first question online. Just state your name and your outlet, please. Thank you.
We have a question from Jonathan Bradley, Western Standard. Please go ahead.
Hello, Minister Wilson. Thank you for taking my question. So you spoke about how this program will be receiving a $10 million boost in funding. How is that boost in funding determined? Like why $10 million?
Well, it's basically, it was 5 and we've doubled it. But what we go on is on the applications that we receive, and I could have actually done 3 times that, but you can only get so much out of Treasury Board. But we were able to prove the benefit of it by showing the impact in communities, how many jobs it's created. So if you figure in the amount of jobs that we're creating across the province by boosting our program, it far exceeds the amount that we've put into it. And that's not just 1 year, that's every year, and it just keeps growing and growing. So basically that's how we did it. We go on the number of applications, and we're always overprescribed. So we just try to get it up to the point where we can make as many of the applications fulfilled as we can.
Okay. You called supporting Indigenous business development a key part of Alberta's commitment to economic reconciliation. Why does economic reconciliation matter?
Why does reconciliation matter? The First Nations were the first peoples here, and so it started with the TRC, the Truth and Reconciliation panel that went out there and came to all governments and said, look, these are the things that we need to do to rectify past and move Indigenous peoples forward. And so I took it really serious when I got in there, and I looked at all of the things that I could do as a minister to fulfill all of the promises made under the Truth and Reconciliation. And there was about 23 things done at provincial level, and I've basically, if I haven't completed them all, I'm moving forward on them all. Everything from, if you go up to the legislative grounds right now, you'll see we did a garden there last year. I call it a reconciliation garden. And we had a carving done by Stu Steinhauer from up at Saddle Lake. It's Mother Earth circling. It's a beautiful sculpture. And you go through the garden, there's a little sidewalk, and you can see the little kids' footprints didn't make it home from the residential schools. And then we've got we made a garden there too. And it's a healing garden. And so, of course, in there we have a lot of culturally things from Indigenous people. So we've got some sage, some sweetgrass, tobacco, cedar, and then an offering circle. So to have that right on the legislative grounds, I think is a very strong message that the province is sending, that we believe in reconciliation and we want a place for the Indigenous people to say is theirs right on the legislative grounds. So like we've been, and all the departments are taking it serious. I don't think there's one department that I don't work with. Like I'm like the jack of all trades minister. We deal with everything from justice. We're going to be doing some work with in Musquecheese around justice, having our own justice center here. A lot of stuff, of course, around addictions, mental health, education we're working closely on. So all the ministers have taken reconciliation very seriously in the province of Alberta.
Did you have another follow-up there, Jonathan? All right, that concludes our presser for today. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.